Hello, I'm Doug, and welcome to the Krewe of Japan podcast, a weekly podcast where we take you on audio journeys through Japanese culture.
This time on Krewe of Japan podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Over the years, we've talked about opportunities to experience Japan through cultural, academic, and professional exchanges. We've explored university study abroad programs, the JET program, the MEXT scholarship, and even sister city exchanges, each offering its own way to connect with Japan, its people, and its culture. And today, we're adding another opportunity to that list, the Fulbright Program. For 80 years, Fulbright has connected people from the United States to communities all around the world through opportunities for study, research, teaching, and professional exchange. But for those who participate, the experience can be much more than simply spending time in another country. It can be an opportunity to build relationships, gain new perspectives, and bring those experiences back home. So what exactly is the Fulbright program, and what does it look like to experience Japan through Fulbright? On this episode, we're joined by Dr. Rose Honegger, Associate Director of Global Engagement at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, a Fulbright scholar herself, and the former president of the Louisiana chapter of the Fulbright Association. Rose joins us to talk about her own Fulbright experiences in Japan through the International Education Administrators Program, including what led her to choose Japan, what she experienced during her time there, and how the program influenced her work in higher education. But we're also looking beyond Rose's personal experience to talk about Fulbright as an opportunity for others. Who is the program for? What makes a strong Fulbright candidate? What should applicants know about the application process, and what can make their application stand out? Whether you're a student, educator, researcher, professional, whoever, looking for an opportunity to deepen your connection with Japan, Fulbright may be another path worth exploring that maybe you never considered up until this moment. So what does it take to experience Japan through the Fulbright program? We're going to find out today. Let's go. Are you new to the Krewe? Yokoso. We hope you enjoy this episode. If you like what you hear today, then you'll really love our back catalog of episodes from earlier this season and previous seasons. We've had some incredible guests, like MEXT coordinator Ty Ebel and MEXT scholar William Archambault, providing MEXT tips and testimonials, world champion taiko drummer Takumi Kato sharing the thunderous sounds of taiko, Dr. Tara Sanchez setting up one of Louisiana's rare high school Japanese programs, and so much more. After you finish up this episode, hit that subscribe button or follow or whatever it is, and get notified when new episodes come out. Then while you wait for the new episode to drop, play catch up with the Krewe. But before you do any of that, let's dive into today's episode.
Doug, you've done a really good job covering a bunch of educational programs regarding Japan, such as JETS and ShareJet. We did the MEX scholarship. And me, with my past experience working at a university, I was like, you know what? We need to give some light to Fulbright. I didn't know much of it, but I knew it was around, and I knew students and faculty and scholars were contributing to that program. So I really wanted to shine some light on it. So today, listeners, I have with me someone who is local, and she's going to be able to tell us more about the Fulbright program. So today, I welcome Dr. Rose Honegger. Thank you, Rose, for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Yes. So could you just give us a brief introduction of who you are and how you got to where you are professionally and what you do?
Sure. I work at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and I've been working there for the past 22 years. My current role is I'm the Associate Director of Global Engagement. So in my role at the university, our office supports all of our university's global initiatives, whether it is hosting international students and scholars or sending our students and faculty abroad. It is one of my favorite things to do. So I feel very fortunate to be in this role.
Nice.
And the Fulbright program that I was a part of was the Fulbright IEA program.
Okay. So are you from Lafayette, or that's just where you kind of landed?
Yes, it's where I landed. So my husband is a professor here at the university, and so we came here 23 years ago. So
Okay. Awesome.
this is now home for us and our
There you
three
go.
kids.
There you go. I was born in Lafayette, so that's why I was like, my dad's
Oh,
side of the family's from
really?
over there. So yeah.
All right, all right. Yeah, no, I'm originally from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right. Well, maybe for listeners who are listening to this podcast and have never heard of Fulbright, or maybe in passing, could you give like a brief description of what the Fulbright program is? Just kind of a high level bird's eye view.
Sure. So the Fulbright program is the U.S. government's kind of flagship international educational exchange program, and it is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. It was established in 1946, so we are celebrating 60 years, right, of Fulbright. And so it was established through legislation through J. William Fulbright, and the goal of this program is to promote mutual understanding between people in the US and people in the other countries. So it's in my opinion, one of the most effective grassroots, people to people cultural diplomacy. And the nice thing about the Fulbright program is that it operates in 160 countries worldwide. So it has a very broad reach. And the Fulbright program awards around 9,000 merit-based grants for students, for scholars, for teachers and professionals to study, teach, conduct research, and pursue professional projects globally. And some of the benefits, if you receive a Fulbright grant, some of the benefits include tuition or educational expenses, a living stipend, travel costs, health benefits, and then, of course, upon return, access to a global Fulbright alumni network. Just so you know, Fulbright alumni, you probably know this, there include numerous heads of state, Nobel laureates, Pulitzer Prize winners, and leading academics. So, for example, the former UK Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, he was a Fulbright scholar. He came to the US to do his MBA through Fulbright. John Steinbeck, the author of The Grapes of Wrath, he was a Fulbrighter. And also Eudora Welty, also another respected American short story writer. She was also a Fulbrighter. But for more information, folks can go to the Fulbright Program's official website at fulbrightprogram.org, and it has all the information that everyone wants to know, because they are currently open for people to apply for Fulbright grants right now.
That's awesome. But before we dive a little bit more into Fulbright in general, because I feel like we've only skimmed the surface, right? You mentioned you chose the Fulbright IEA program, which stands for International Education Administrators Program, a short-term seminar-based program for higher education professionals.
Mhm.
But can you give us some background on your decision to choose Japan as like your host country for that program? Did you have interest in Japan prior to Fulbright? Maybe that, growing up you wanted to go there, or did you have some other kind of connection to it?
Yeah, so my personal connection with Japan is I used to teach ESL courses at our university, and I had two Japanese students, and they were just incredible students and just great cultural ambassadors of Japan to other students. And I'll share something about the two of them that I saw this past weekend. Did you see yesterday's World Cup soccer match between Japan and Netherlands?
Yes.
And did you hear all the positive buzz that caught everyone's attention surrounding the Japanese soccer fans who picked up the trash around their
Oh,
seats?
yeah.
So I truly admire their sense of social responsibility for spaces that they share with others. That is just incredible. And when they were interviewed, the soccer fans said that this is part of our culture, taking care of our shared environment and leaving it better than when you found it. And this is something I also saw in the two students that I had. And it stayed with me, and it just left a lasting impression. So that years later, after they graduated from our intensive English program, they went on to get their bachelor's degree in the US. One became an outstanding graduate for our university. That always kept coming back to me. And so when I started looking at the Fulbright IEA program options, Japan immediately caught my attention, because this unique characteristic that I've seen in some of the Japanese individuals that I've met in the US, I've heard that it is attributed to Japan's unique school education system. And so I was just dying to know and learn more about this. And so I felt the Fulbright IEA program is just a perfect opportunity for me to experience that. And so this Fulbright program was not just looking for a professional development opportunity. I wanted an experience that would broaden my perspective and allow me to engage with a culture that was different from my own. And so Japan was perfect for that. And I'm also drawn to Japanese universities because of the work that I do, how they navigate issues such as many institutions around the world are facing, right, including internationalization, demographic changes, preparing students for a global workforce. I was curious how the Japanese approach these challenges and to bring those lessons back to my own work. So it makes sense to use Japan for this program.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the
Yeah,
social responsibility thing is something that is a great characteristic of Japan. I
it
wish
is.
we had more of that here in the States in terms of like
Absolutely.
you have a shared space and you want to take care of it for the greater good of the community, right? It's
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
everyone's use, not
Everyone's
just your own.
responsibility. Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's get to the details of your trip. What we want to know is kind of like how long were you in Japan for the program? Where in Japan did you go and see? And maybe how many people were in your cohort for this? Because it looked like a group thing.
Mhm.
What was the schedule like? Like, what did y'all do? What were they having you do? Who did you meet? Were you able to meet all these college professionals that you could get one on one with? And then, of course, in good old Japan tourism fashion, what did you do? What did you see? What did you eat? We just want to know, how your trip was.
Happy to share that. So the Fulbright program in Japan was a rich experience for me and life-changing. Our cohort was made up of 8 higher education administrators just like me from across the United States. All of us represent different types of institutions from private to public state institutions, from the very big tier 1 flagship universities to medium size and smaller ones. And so we really reflect the landscape of higher education in the US. We were there for 2 weeks and we traveled to several regions of Japan. Our base was in Tokyo, and we had the opportunity to meet with university leaders, government officials, professors, students, and international education professionals. And the schedule was packed from morning to evening every single day. And we started out in Tokyo, where we met with representatives from JUSEC and then MEXT, which is the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology. So those kind of meetings provided important context for all of us to learn about Japan's higher education system, what are the country's priorities, and around internationalization. And when I said JUSEC, we were hosted by the Fulbright Japan office that's based in Tokyo. So those are the folks that hosted us there. So we visited University of Tokyo, which is a renowned, well-respected university, Tokai University, Suda University, and we also went to Meiji University upon our return back to Tokyo, where we had opportunities to engage directly with administrators, faculty, and students. One of the most fascinating topics that we learned was the term shukatsu. Have you heard of shukatsu? So, shukatsu is Japan's highly structured job hunting process for university students.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we don't see that here in the US.
it's really
It's
unique, right?
intense.
It's intense. It
Intense.
is. It
It's a
is. Yeah.
job, basically. It's a job.
Yeah.
Their third
Yeah.
year is
Yeah.
just
Yes.
just that.
So it's Japan's synchronized, highly structured job hunting process, and it requires university students to secure full-time employment before graduating. So very fascinating. One of the universities that we visited, they showed us even where the meeting rooms where they meet with students to show them to have mock interviews and to kind of prepare them. And so basically, they shared with us the shukatsu timeline is that in your junior year in the spring, your job hunting officially begins. And then you attend large corporate seminars, with all the different companies like Nippon, Hitachi, and on and on. And then submit your entry sheets. And then your junior year, in the summer, the students participate in a short-term internship, which often fast track them for later interviews, which makes sense. We see that in the US. For college students that have internships, they are more likely to get a job after graduation, especially those companies. And then your senior year in the spring, the official interviews begin, and then job offers are typically extended in early June. And then for post-graduation successful candidates, then start their employment right after graduation. It's fascinating to see all of that and to learn about that. So that was my first time ever hearing about shukatsu.
Yeah, it's very different from how it's approached here. I feel like a lot of students, they do internships and whatnot throughout school. And I was a business student. And so that was like kind of a requirement. We had to do an internship. But your senior year is typically when you start looking around for work, not your junior year. So that was something I found fascinating because my junior year of college, I did a study abroad year at Sophia University in Tokyo.
Oh,
and a lot of my friends were going through Shushoku Katsuro, right? They were doing the whole thing. They're in suits every other day. It kills their free time. Like just completely wipes it out. So everyone would say like their first 2 years of college is when you play and you have fun, you join your clubs. Shushoku is when you kind of hunker down for a year. And then your last year is kind of you enjoy after your interviews and you find out you enjoy the last year of your college before you sign your life away to your employer.
Right. Yeah. Part of my travels also, we traveled to Hiroshima.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which was probably one of the most memorable parts of
it is such a memorable place.
Experience. Yeah, we visited the Peace Memorial Park. Very moving. I felt I did not have enough time after doing that for reflection. I had to. When I returned home, and it took me time to kind of process all of that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So while we were in Hiroshima, we visited Hiroshima Shudo University and learned about its role in the local community. We also took a trip to Miyajima.
Oh, nice.
So beautiful. And so in Hiroshima, I was introduced to okonomiyaki.
Ah, yes.
Love it.
It's so good.
And it was a special experience because we went with a group of Japanese students and their professors, so they kind of explained to us as we were all sitting around this person who's going to cook for us, what to pick, what to choose. And it was just wonderful hospitality.
That's great.
I still remember that. Oh, so amazing. And of course, throughout our visit, the meals became opportunities to build relationships because we also had maybe in Kyoto where we had a very traditional, sit on the mat and, having all the more traditional type of food. So that was also incredible. We spent time, as I mentioned, in Kyoto and Osaka and at Kansai University. Kansai University is one of the leading universities in Japan that have done a lot of collaboration, working in higher ed.
Yeah.
Okay, about the COIL program, right? And so we visited the folks there that are involved with the COIL program at Kansai University. And then we also attended a networking event in Osaka where we met with educators and professionals who were Fulbright alumni. So they came to the US on Fulbright grants. And so are now back in Japan. And so they host this Fulbright networking event for all of us.
That's cool.
Yeah. And in the evening, it included karaoke.
There we go.
That's my kind of party.
Yes. It was so much fun. Yeah. We saw another side of everyone.
Of course you did.
Oh,
yeah. So we didn't have much free time. The free time I had every evening was checking out I had to have matcha ice cream every evening. That was how I ended my day. I feel like
that's a good way to end your day.
All is well. So I guess at the end of the Fulbright program, it was just 2 weeks. As you can see, it wasn't long, but I feel like I gained a deeper understanding of Japanese higher education, but also just a greater appreciation for the Japanese culture, its people, their history, and society. And so for me, looking back, what stands out the most to me are those conversations we had with students, just one-on-one. What are you interested about the U.S. In coming to study in the U.S. and then hearing from the Japanese professionals who came to the US, and they just talk very fondly of their experience in the US. And so those personal connections brought the experience to life in a way that no report or slide presentation can ever quite summarize it. But the trip challenged me to think differently about international education and left me with insights and relationships that continue to influence my work today.
Sounds like a absolutely wonderful experience. I mean, again, jam-packed, doing all that in
Mhm.
2 weeks sounds like a lot. So you mentioned like you've carried this with you throughout your career once you came back from the program. What were some ways that you were able to translate that experience into the work that you're currently doing at University of Lafayette, Louisiana? University of Louisiana, Lafayette.
Very good.
Sorry, he's a Loyola boy. You have to excuse him.
Yeah, I wondered about that, hence the connection to Sophia University being a Jesuit school, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, we're also a partner of Sophia University. I'm proud to say that was one of the outcomes of my visit
Oh,
there.
that's
Oh,
great.
Yeah,
nice.
so segue into the question that you just asked. Seeing firsthand the value of cross-cultural exchange when I was there, one of the outcomes of it was we created our first faculty-led study abroad program to Japan last year. And so it was successful. We had our own professor who teaches moving image arts. And so it was a natural kind of topic to bring our students to see firsthand, to record for themselves what they saw through their lens about Japan and life in Japan. And so that's one of the outcomes is, creating this faculty-led program to Japan that has been one of my dreams. And so this was fun to see it coming to reality. It took a while because of COVID.
Yeah, yeah, I can
We had to
imagine.
wait, but it helped us to plan it.
Where is the program, if you don't mind me asking? Where do you when you go, is it in Tokyo or is it in
Yeah,
Okay.
it's based in Tokyo. Yeah,
And how long is the program for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So it's faculty led. Is it just for ULL students or can non ULL students go on it?
Yeah, non-UL students
Okay, great.
can join us, and also we also have non-students, meaning we've had people from the community who just want to join, but of course they have to do the classwork also.
Of course, yes.
Right.
Have to do the classwork.
That's right. And another way that I have kind of brought my experience in Japan back into my work here is introducing Japan to our students. For those students who've never had an opportunity to go abroad, I want them to learn about the Japan that I got to see. And so every fall, the US celebrates International Education Week. And so there's a program called Fulbright in the Classroom that is promoted by the Fulbright Association, meaning for Fulbright grantees upon return to the US to use that opportunity, use that platform to share about Japan to students, K to 12 or in higher ed. And so I have done that several times, and the students are just curious about Japan. Especially this generation, they love everything Japan. So
Yeah, since you've been in 2019, I feel like Japan has definitely gained traction a lot
absolutely.
more.
Yes, with the anime and everything. And so one of the things I made sure when I was in Japan, I got my own kimono. And so when I give a presentation to the classrooms, I let all the students try it on. And,
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, yeah. So, everyone wants to try it on because they're curious. How do you put this on? So it's just a way for me to give back to Fulbright, to share about Japan and to talk about the wonderful country. And also I want to inspire future Fulbrighters, meaning to encourage these students to see themselves as future Fulbrighters, that they would consider applying for Fulbright. And so since then, I've also become the Fulbright advisor for our university. And so I use that platform to share about my experience in Japan and to encourage everyone to apply for the Fulbright program. And so I am currently working with 3 students on a Fulbright English teaching assistant program. These are recent graduates. And so I talk to students, use the year after you graduate as a gap year and teach abroad, and there are so many locations where you can become an English teaching assistant. And so it's exciting. One is applying to South Korea, one is applying to Taiwan, and one is applying to Spain. So there are just many opportunities out there for young and, old, and, everyone can apply to this. So
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, that is. And I'm sure your experience with Japan was life changing, but also your experience with Fulbright seems to have exceeded all expectations because if I'm not mistaken from my research, you've served twice as Fulbright's National Screening Committee for the Fulbright U.S. Student English Language Teaching Assistantship Program. And now I believe you're serving as a board member for the Fulbright Association's Louisiana chapter, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So clearly it has changed your life. So there is a lot of research and study opportunities out there. So why should individuals choose Fulbright? Who is Fulbright for?
Fulbright is for everyone. And what sets Fulbright apart, however, from other international opportunities is that it's not just about what you learn academically or professionally. It's really about building that mutual understanding between people and cultures. And that is at the core of Fulbright's mission, which is rooted in the idea that international exchange can foster greater cooperation, empathy, and peace, something that we need today around the globe. That may seem idealistic, but when you've experienced it firsthand, you realize how powerful those person-to-person connection can be. So Fulbright is really for people who are curious. It's for people who want to learn from others, not just teach or share what they know. Whether you're a student, you're a professor, an administrator, K-12 teacher, artist, researcher, or professional, the program really attracts individuals who are open to new perspectives and willing to engage deeply in another culture. There really isn't a single Fulbright type because Fulbright applicants come from a wide range of backgrounds, disciplines, and institutions and life experience. And so when I served on the Fulbright National Screening Committee, that is something we look for. We want to have Fulbright grantees that represent the breadth of the United States, the landscape of who Americans are. And so we want it to be very diverse. And for students, especially the ones that I work with, I say Fulbright offers something that is even increasingly important in today's world. The opportunity to step outside your comfort zone and to develop a global perspective, to gain professional skills, but also to develop cultural awareness, resilience, communication skills, and the ability to navigate unfamiliar environments. So that is something that when we reviewing applications, we are looking for individuals that are open and willing to be outside their comfort zone. And you have to be open-minded because you will encounter different experiences. And that's part of the beauty of that experience, learning experience. It will stretch you, but you become a better person at the end of it.
Such an important thing. And like you said, in this world today, just in
Uh-huh.
general, I feel like the better you are at being open to, hey, there's other cultures out there outside of my own, and understanding that really helps. I feel, I mean, that's something for me growing up in Louisiana, didn't live outside of Louisiana until I was until my study abroad year. And that was my first time really going outside of my bubble.
Yeah.
And it was a life-changing experience. And I feel like it's really important though. Like I feel like the more people that have that kind of experience, the better, because,
Absolutely.
it can really change you for the better, and then you bring that back and kind of introduce that stuff to your bubble,
Yes.
maybe inspire or encourage others to take the same chance.
Absolutely. And the impact doesn't end when the grant ends. Through the Fulbright Association, you become part of a global network of people who remain connected even after their Fulbright award. And it's through this shared commitment to international understanding and collaboration. So, as a Fulbrighter, I have stayed involved with the Fulbright Association Louisiana chapter. It was during COVID also that I joined the Fulbright Louisiana chapter. I've been a member, I've been a board member, and I was the past president too. So it's basically a volunteer-led alumni group, and our primary role is to foster local community, offer networking and mentorship, welcome visiting international scholars, introducing visiting Fulbright scholars from other countries to Louisiana culture. Since you're from Lafayette, we always host a Fulbright event during Festival Acadie et Krewe in the fall. And so what better way to introduce the visiting Fulbrighters to this amazing local festival, free festival, introduce them to the amazing food, amazing music, and amazing culture. And the visiting Fulbrights always end up at the tent at Festival Acadie et Creole, where we have a band and they learn how to do the two-step. So it's always fun. And we've had Fulbrighters from Morocco, from Egypt, from India. I mean, they were all dancing with us, and I'm not good at it, but it's so much fun, to engage with them through shared music and culture. And so that's one of the fun things that we do. And so we have events in the fall and in the spring to bring together alumni and also to host visiting Fulbrighters from other countries, again, to share that people to people kind of cultural diplomacy, something that we experienced, I experienced when I was in Japan.
That's really good. And the network thing is really important too. I feel like that's something that there is a parallel between like the JET program. I feel like once you come back from JET,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop there. And there's actually a really,
Yeah.
really expansive JET alumni network that
Yes.
I'm a part of still to this day. And not as active as I was right when I returned from JET, but I'm still pretty active to an
Yeah.
extent. Our chapter's kind of small here in Louisiana.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a good thing to have that because you can meet people that are around the world or in your own community or whatever it may be.
Yes.
And you never know what doors may open as a
Absolutely.
result of those connections. So I did have a question though about the actual application process. For a person who may be applying, they've listened to this episode and they're really kind of interested and they find a program they want to pursue. How does this application process differ from maybe other scholarships or awards that are out there? Is there something that kind of differentiates this application process for the Fulbright programs from others? And is there something that people really need to focus on when doing their application? Like, what is the most important piece of that application?
Sure. As you know, the Fulbright program is very competitive, but a lot of competitive programs focus heavily on, academic metrics, publications, or accomplishments. But Fulbright is different in that it values those academic and professional excellence, but it also places as much emphasis on the applicant's ability to serve as a cultural ambassador and to engage meaningfully with another country. So we're looking for individuals that clearly express that, to approach it with humility and open-mindedness to learn and engage with the local culture. So in that sense, the application is not just about what you've done, but it's about how you think about international exchange. The review committees are looking for people who can clearly articulate why they want to go, what they hope to learn, and how they will share those experiences when they return. They have to kind of be specific about that. And the mutual understanding aspect of the application is central to this application. So sometimes people underestimate, it sounds cliche, but really it's really an important part of that application process. So one key difference from other applications is that how integrated your personal statement and your project proposal needs to be. So we're not just asking for a research plan or list of goals, but we want to hear your story, a coherent kind of narrative that connects your background, your proposed work, and your long-term professional trajectory. And so the successful applications are often very intentional, and it grows out of who the applicant already is and what they've been doing in their career.
Is there like they have to write like a 2-page essay or something? I know for Jet, that's
Yes.
unfortunately the one I can kind of look back to is like my experience with this type of stuff, but a statement of purpose or what is your reason for wanting to do this? Is there something that like a writing component in addition to the actual like square on a website? You have to fill in a little, 250 words, fill in this box with something, or is it longer, more kind of way where you can introduce your thought process in a more articulate or expressive way?
Yes, that there is a project statement and statement of purpose. So it's all connected. However, they have kind of made it in such a way that you input it into those boxes with those word counts, but it is all interconnected. And so when I'm working with students, I tell them, don't worry about those boxes. Put that aside. Let's put down your thoughts, and then we'll go from there, and then we'll put that into the application grid, so to speak.
Okay.
Another important component to the Fulbright application that we put a lot of emphasis on is on adaptability, cultural sensitivity, and openness to change. And we ask applicants to provide examples that would show how they have done this. Prior international experience is helpful, but it's not required. And sometimes applicants with less international travel, but very strong reflection and purpose can be just as competitive. So a lot of the applications I hear are students that have never traveled overseas, but through maybe volunteerism, working with volunteer groups with youth, they talk about how they are able to help students, and maybe it's a student from a different perspective than they are. Those are all important things that we're looking for. So I would say, in general, Fulbright is unique in that it evaluates the whole person. We're not just looking at credentials, but perspective, purpose, and potential for impact across cultures, because that's also another component of the application is, what impact you hope to have upon return. And you have to explain that and what you plan to do upon return.
Okay.
Like I just said, it doesn't just stop with the grant, but upon return, what are you planning to do to share this with your circle, right? And then hopefully it
Right.
grows. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for applicants who are interested in applying, where can they find some helpful resources to prepare them for the application?
So I would say the first one would be the most important starting point would be the official program guidance from the Fulbright Program website. And there it lays out the eligibility, timelines, and the expectations for each award type because they have lots of different award types. And so it is the most reliable source for what reviewers are actually looking for in a given cycle because there's a cycle every year, right? And so alongside that, the Fulbright Commission or Fulbright US Student Program pages also include country-specific guidance. And I encourage everyone to look at those country-specific guidance. So if you want to go to Taiwan, there are specific guidance, and they will also tell you how many grants will be awarded, things like that. And then a second resource would be for applicants in the United States, the Campus Fulbright Advisor. And if they have a fellowship office, is one of the most valuable resources people sometimes underestimate and underutilize. So these advisors are Fulbright alumni that have had successful applications and can help shape and guide students, especially throughout the application process. And also, they're familiar with how the campus endorsement process works, which can be critical early on to look for individuals that can endorse your Fulbright application. A third resource that's incredible is also the Fulbright program hosts webinars. And these webinars are recorded and saved. So anyone can listen to these recorded webinars. And they are such a great resource if you missed one of those webinars. And there's webinars that are more general, and then there's webinars that are more specific to the type of program that you're interested in. And then finally, one of the most kind of underrated resource is talking to people who have either lived or worked in that proposed host country or field. So for me, I reached out to a Fulbright grantee at Rice University who received the Fulbright IEA award, and it helped me tremendously. All those burning questions that I had, it's so nice to be able to just connect with someone, and they told me, the application process, what was it like, how much money I should bring, just even, just basic things like that. And that questions that I thought maybe dumb to ask, but it's never a dumb question. But so that was, based on my experience, one of the most helpful thing. And so, yeah, it can help you from feeling, I'm not sure, to, okay, I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's good. And, with this, we always ask ourselves, sometimes with life experiences, if you could go back in time
Mhm.
and tell your Fulbright applying self one thing, what would it be? It could be like a suggestion that you wish you had known, that maybe you didn't like hear from the person from Rice that you were talking about, that would have made your application process a little easier. Or it could be something that you wish you would have known while staying in Japan, anything.
Yeah, for me, I guess I wish I had time to stay on in Japan, because the 2 weeks, there's so much more to Japan. And I felt like, I barely scratched the surface. I would really like to maybe go to a more remote location and stay for a while, and just to kind of experience the local culture. I guess it's something that you experience probably through the JET program.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah.
about to say, are you able to add on, like, if let's say you do the program, and then could you possibly build in some days on the back end before you come home where you can do some type of travel? Or is it pretty restrictive in that you have to go on this day and leave on this day? These are your flights, non-negotiable.
I think you can. I had one or two colleagues that did that.
Okay,
They had to get the permission, and
sure.
those expenses will be on their own.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think I had one or two that did that. But most of us returned home right away after that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, next time you do get to go back to Japan, definitely check out the
Yeah.
countryside. It's definitely a different taste than your Kyotos and Tokyos and
Yeah.
Hiroshima.
Yes. Agree. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, do you have any advice for maybe then, like, we're kind of getting to the end of I think we've kind of covered this extensively already, but maybe for, an applicant that is truly listening to this. I mean, personally, I'm like, maybe I should look into the Fulbright for something. I don't know.
Yes, you should.
But do you have any advice for someone that might be like, hey, this might be an option for me. Let me look into this. What would you, if you had to like give like one piece of advice, like what would you give that person?
It's an advice that someone gave me when I shared my first draft of my statement of purpose. And this colleague of mine said, who was a Fulbrighter, said that this essay doesn't tell me anything about you. I want your authentic voice to come through this. He said, you need to redo this. I was hurt at first, my ego, because I worked very hard on that. But I'm very grateful for that person who shared that with me, because I had to get over it at first for a few days. And then I went back and start from scratch, and just shared kind of my personal interaction with the two students that I had. I would say, if anything, this is what I would say: focus on telling a clear story of who you are and what you hope to contribute, and put aside all the other, buzzwords that people are looking for, that you think what Fulbright is, but just kind of tell your story. And so that's what I did. And lo and behold, I was surprised.
That worked
That
out.
it worked out. Yes, yes. So that's what I would say. Obviously, look at what is needed in the application, the statement of purpose, the project, but knowing what's required, but then you just write your own story. And then, of course, start early, so that you can, writing takes time, so that you can craft that essay, and make those connecting dots with who you are, and how you can be a cultural ambassador, willing to learn about Japan, or willing to learn about the host country that you're hoping to go to. So yes, it's an incredible experience. I encourage everyone to apply for it.
Awesome.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
of
for
course.
sharing all this information with us. Now I feel like I have a really good grasp of Fulbright. Like before I knew about it
Yeah.
and I knew like the gist of it, but now I feel like I'm well educated now on it.
Well, I'm
So do
pleased to hear that. I'm pleased to hear
yeah,
that.
yeah. So are there any as we're wrapping up, like I feel like the couple little I's to dot and T's to cross. Are there any like deadline dates that people should be keeping in mind in terms of this, or where can people follow? Or you mentioned the website, obviously the Fulbright website.
Yes, so the deadline for the Fulbright US student program, the national deadline is Tuesday, October 6, 2026 at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And so work on your applications right now because it will take time. This deadline is for the 2027 to 2028 academic year. So grants will begin for June 1, 2028. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, usually it will start. So for the ETA program, it will be starting in 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, if that makes sense. So the US Fulbright program is usually open from early April to mid-October. So that's the deadline.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And the website's like pretty well updated. It'll update if any changes occur or as the
Absolutely.
new sessions come through.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the best source of information and up-to-date resources. Absolutely.
Great.
Just so you know, sorry, I just wanted to add
Yeah.
that it also has a list of universities in the US and who the Fulbright advisors are on a student's
there we
campus. So that's an important thing because sometimes students don't think about, didn't know I had an advisor, Fulbright advisor on our campus. So some universities are bigger, and so the Fulbright advisor have a more prominent role. They have that's kind of their main job. But the Fulbright website does have a list of Fulbright advisors that students or professionals can go to.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. That's very handy.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing a bunch of your experience with us.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, this is so much fun.
Well, yeah, I said she's from Louisiana. She did Japan. I was like, it fits perfectly into our podcast,
And we will definitely invite both of you when we have our Fulbright Louisiana chapter event at Tulane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right at your doorstep. So I will definitely include both of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's not just about Japan, but it's the Fulbright program.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for joining us. This is so much fun.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Krewe Japan. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for this conversation about the Fulbright program and the many opportunities they can provide to experience Japan through academic and professional exchange. And of course, a huge thank you to Dr. Rose Honegger for joining us and sharing her own Fulbright experience, as well as her own insight into the application process and what it takes to become a successful Fulbrighter. If you're interested in hearing more from Rose, you'll have another opportunity this November when she joins us as the keynote speaker at the Japan Society New Orleans annual member meeting. So if you're a member of Japan Society, be sure to keep an eye out because there will be more information going out soon. Are you new to the Krewe in Season 7? Stick around and don't be a stranger. Give us a follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. There's plenty in our back catalog to take you on endless audio journeys through Japanese culture. While you're there, do us a solid and leave us a 5-star rating and or review. Why not both? Every single one of those ratings and reviews helps other listeners discover Krewe Japan and join our global crew. Or hey, maybe just let a friend know about us. Any and all support is incredibly appreciated. Do you think the Fulbright program is a good fit for you? Share with us on Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X. Just search Krewe Japan Podcast to stay in the loop with future episodes, upcoming Japan Society events, and other Japan-related content. That's KREWEOFJAPAN, Krewe of Japan. Or if you want to reach out to us directly, shoot us an email, kreweofjapanpodcast@gmail.com. We always love hearing from our listeners. But that's it for today. Until next time. Looking to start your own podcast and don't know what platform to use? Tell me about it. When we started the Krewe Japan podcast, we tried a bunch of the big name recording platforms, but always came back to the one we're still currently using to this day, Zencastr. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. In addition to its high audio and video quality for podcast production, Zencastr provides a full suite of production tools to record, produce, and publish studio quality content from the comfort of your home. Just log in through your browser and start recording. It's that simple. For us, we simply send out links to our guests and they join the lobby. But before you know it, it's all done and you have your studio quality audio and up to 4K video right there ready for you, right when you finish. The best part is having their multi-layered backups to ensure that your recordings are in the highest quality, regardless of anyone's internet connection stability. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcasts in one place and distribute to all the major destinations. It's really that easy. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code KREWOFJAPAN, KREWEOFJAPAN, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all of our podcasting and content needs. It's your time to share your story.